Hey, hello. Welcome to the Pyramid Method Masterclass. I'm going to share my screen here. We'll get up and running. And I am just going to do a little check that you can hear me okay. So drop a little yes if you can hear me. I'm sure if you can't, you will let me know. Okay, so one. Cool. All right, so as we're getting into this here, make sure that you have something out that you can take notes with, whether that's physical notes or digital notes, whatever suits you best. Right, let me just check this here now. You can't hear me. Perfect. Okay. Right, well, this is going to be a doozy. I am so excited. A doozy in a good way. I'm so excited for this one. It's been a long time since I've hosted a free masterclass, so this is, I really didn't hold back when I was putting the notes together for this, so we're gonna have a blast. So, if you haven't seen the pre-emails for this is a 5-part framework I'm gonna bring you through today for becoming productive as fuck rather than being a busy coach. There are 5 layers to this pyramid that I'm going to walk you through, and I'm going to give you kind of tidbits and tips for each of those stages. It's going to be juicy. Okay. So, for some reason this is giving very small. Okay, it actually looks fine on the screen apparently, but yeah, all right, we'll go with that. So, as you can see here, I'm going to be talking about, I'm just going to like introduce the pyramid to you. We're going to go through the 5 stages, which, as you can see here, are crystal clarity, productivity strategy, systems, refinement, and accountability. I know I'm saying that fast, but there's a reason for that. You're going to see it in an actual visual in just a second. And I have no doubt that you will walk away from this feeling so much more in control of your time, so much more in control of your calendar, your energy, and your business overall as a coach. Like, we have a lot of things going. We have a lot of things on the go. There's always like another thing, and even if you're like, wow, I had such a productive day today, I'm sure that there's still plenty more to do. We don't really get to the end of our to-do list, and it's quite frustrating. Like, and that can actually really impact your productivity during your workday as well, because you're doing one thing and then half your brain is like, oh yeah, but I could also be doing this other thing, and am I focusing on the right thing, and ooh, I wonder what the weather's like in Barcelona. That's always the example I use for some reason, but it's just, it's so easy to get distracted when we don't have these pieces like honed in, right? So here is the pyramid. So we have productivity strategy. Oh my god, this is an old version of the pyramid. Excuse me. We have crystal clarity at the bottom. We have productivity strategy then. Oh no. My face is blocking some of this. That's okay. I'll talk you through. I'll talk you through them. But productivity strategy, we have systems, refinement, and accountability. Now, obviously, this is kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where it's like, okay, there's no point in thinking about how to achieve self-actualization if like you can't even put food on the table and you're in survival mode, right? So there's no point for you to be looking at like, how can I make use of accountability if you're really unclear on your goals, or if you don't have the productivity strategy locked in, or if you have no systems, um or even refinement wise. Like, obviously, the lower on the pyramid you are, like, you need to master that before you jump up to the next one, right? And that's essentially what I'm going to walk you through today. So let's go ahead and start with crystal clarity. So this is, even though it's at the bottom of the pyramid, it is top priority. Why? Because you can't really be productive if you don't know what you're even building. Is my goal to grow to 10,000 followers on Instagram, or is my goal to get my monthly recurring revenue to 5 figures? You might hear me say that and go, well, both will be nice. Thanks. Like, I actually want both. Or you might be thinking, well, they kind of like feed into each other. So aren't I just aiming for both? Because both relate to me growing my business, right? And yeah, kind of. Like, kind of. But that's the thing. We have to get a lot clearer on where we're going than we think we do. So, if you grow, you might think, yeah, if I grow my Instagram to 10,000 followers, more people will join my membership or my offers with payment plans, and therefore my monthly recurring revenue will grow. Or you might be like, well, if more people join my memberships or my offers with payment plans, they'll most likely follow me on Instagram too to connect on there as well. And it kind of works both ways. And I'm telling you now that this is a problem that a lot of online coaches have. Like, yeah, both are great. I agree with you on that. But in order to go further, faster, and to 10x the ROI, return on investment of your time, you're going to take very different actions, at least if you're being intentional. So it's a whole thing. So if we go into this, right? Let's say your goal, your absolute most important goal is to grow your Instagram to 10,000 followers, let's say. What are things that you would do to work towards those goals? Maybe you're going to do a 10-day high value reel series. Maybe you're going to do an Instagram collab with someone in your industry every single week, maybe. Maybe you're going to have a very strategic content plan and put a lot of time into planning out what content goes out and when. And you're going to be really locked in with your content batching, and you're going to be really locked in with your content repurposing. You might even be driving traffic to your Instagram after they sign up for a freebie because and you would say like, "Oh, I share about this every day." There are things that you would want to have locked in if that was your absolute number one goal. But if your main goal was monthly recurring revenue, things would look a bit different in terms of what is my most important thing to do. What would be your most important thing to do? Maybe mapping out a high ticket group offer, like a mastermind with like a 12-month payment plan, right? Maybe it's building out a membership and having that be your number one focus on every single launch. Maybe it's driving traffic to your membership after they sign up for your freebie, because that's where they can like take this work to the next level. Can't you see how, depending on the goal, your most important action steps are very, very different? And look, I'm not saying that if you choose one, you have to just throw the other out the window. I'm not saying that, but I'm talking absolute top priority here. I mean, if you get your top priority done for the week, the rest of the work you do in a week is a bonus, because the most important thing is done already. So without crystal clarity on this one most important thing, you won't have that. And then everything is just going to feel as important as each other. And that's a problem, to be honest, because if anything, it's actually the most common productivity problem that I see. Most of the time, my clients come to me and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. I have too much to do." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know you do. We all do. But it's up to us." And this is the thing, it's a blessing and a curse for us to be in charge of our schedules. It means, great, we're in charge of our schedule, but it also means, oh no, I'm in charge of my schedule. So that, like, it's down to me to decide, and I have to actually decide and make decisions. I can't just be like, I can do everything. I know you want to believe you can do everything. I've been there too. I also still struggle with that. But let's bring it back, because this is where your productivity, it's weird because you're like, you're reining it back so that you can skyrocket, but that is actually what happens. It's so strange. Um, so as you can see here, the crystal clarity piece relates to like a work project that you're working on, an ideal lifestyle that you're working towards. Like, what are you actually building? So a great example here for is what I'm working on right now. My absolute top priority now is the summit that I'm building towards in September. I am hosting a summit. I've never hosted one before. It's a If you've ever hosted a summit, you already know it is a project and a half. It is a project and a half. I've like I love challenging myself with a big project like that, but holy moly, I actually am kind of blown away by just how much work it actually is. so, um, so your goal determines your top priority tasks, which makes your life way easier moving forward and moving through your weeks because it acts as the necessary filter to your workload. What happens is if you have a very clear goal, it gives direction to your strategy. Without that crystal clarity, and you might have like, I know where I'm going, but you without like this is there's done criteria. I know what's happening. I know when it's happening. I know what I'm aiming for. Without that, your to-do list ends up just being noise because a vague goal will lead to kind of scattered work. You start a work day and you're like, okay, great. I've got 15 things to do. What do I do first? I don't know. They're all important. That's when it all feels important. That's a problem. That's a problem. If you got a really focused, really clear goal, great. I've got 15 things to do, but only 2 of them are related to my number 1 goal, so that's the most important thing. How much easier does your life get? Like so much easier. And if you don't decide which of 2 or 3 even goals is your top priority, you are going to waste time and energy trying to do both. And like you'll do neither well. And that's when your efforts end up being kind of diluted down, and therefore your results end up being diluted down. And if this is an absolute behavioral pattern of yours where you're someone who cannot and will not choose, then don't be surprised if you often find yourself in overwhelm because you've got multiple goals with multiple tasks each. And then you're looking at your to do list for the week and you're like, how the hell am I actually supposed to get all this done? And then you're like, yeah, hun, this like dropping in a couple of pomodoros is not going to do it. like, so the shift here is to pick one goal or project that is your absolute North Star and mapping it out in a way that you know the strategy, you know the plan, you know what's happening, and you know when it's happening. And then from there, all of your decisions, all of, deciding between one task or another or deciding whether to say yes or no to something, you ask yourself, will this directly bring me closer to my goal? Yes or no? And it's going to be very clear whether it earns a place on your calendar or not. And I do mean directly. I don't just mean, is this like kind of indirectly, maybe kind of half bringing me toward? I mean, like, is this the thing that needs to happen to bring me towards my goal? Yes or no? Like, be really, really ruthless. That is crystal clarity. Excuse me. So, that is how productive coaches build their massive income and impact and not just a massive to-do list. Like, I feel like that's a mic drop moment right there. That's how productive coaches build massive income and massive impact, not just a massive to-do list. Nothing's coming from a massive to-do list. So, I'll ask you, without that crystal clarity, how can you possibly decide which of your 50 tasks is the most important or the most leveraged? You can't. Like, the spoiler is you can't. And it'll probably cause you to have way more too much to do, meaning you'll be scattered, you'll be stressed out, and forever feeling like, why can I never finish things? And that's a cycle that kind of feeds into itself. So this is why in my membership it's actually worked into our plan sesh calls to assess like what our goal is. What are we working on for the quarter? How on track are we for that? And do any adjustments need to be made? Because as time goes on and we get dragged into like random tasks that seem important, we're like, yeah, this will take me to the next level. And then, really the goal we set at the start of the year is totally different. So having that awareness, mm, amazing. Having that awareness and bringing it back is so important for actually bringing these things into fruition rather than just being another one of those busy being busy girlies. I I want better for you because like the frustration of being busy all the time and really just being busy, ugh, like it hits. I'm just gonna mute myself because I need a cough. One sec. Okay. So this pillar really dictates every other area, and that's why there was no way it could have been on any other stage of the pyramid. And a little bonus activity I would like you to do and drop it in the chat if you're comfortable. I would love for you to rate yourself out of 10 in this area. So I have a feeling we might end up having like, you know, a range here. You might have literally just done your planning for Q3 and you might be like, "Ah, you're preaching to the choir, hon, because like I know exactly what I'm doing. Don't even talk to me." Or you might be like, shit, I actually definitely have been doing like multiple goals or vague goals, like grow my business. Like, what does that mean though? You know? Okay, is it Alisa or Alyssa? We have 0, we have 5. Okay, I knew there'd be a range. I'm all over the place. It's fair. It's such a normal experience to feel that way. So I just want to, hold space for that. Um, okay, so really just bringing an awareness to it at the moment, and then we can kind of rate ourselves on each of these as we go, right? Day to day for me. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is good. Let's bring it to the next stage here. Productivity strategy. That looks like I'm pregnant. That's my dog. Um, okay, so productivity strategy. This is one of my, ooh, yeah. Okay, so why is this the next stage here? Because without it, you're going to find that your weeks kind of trickle by without really much progress on that most important thing. And of course, you can understand based on the crystal clarity part, if we don't have that, this is going to be way harder. So, and just behind the scenes little insights for you here. I almost put this one at the bottom of the pyramid as the most important thing because without the ability to be productive, how will you move forward on anything? But then I was like, no, like the crystal clarity has to come first. I have not the ick, but like it irritates me too. Like I know, I'm like, oh, it's not the most fun part, but when you have it, then you're like, "Oh, yeah." I feel you with the summit, too much work, so I stopped planning. It's definitely yeah, like, it's a lot. I actually initially wanted to do it about 2 years ago, and just other things were coming up, and I was like, "Yeah, it's just not the time." Finally, I'm like, "It's the time." Okay, I've created plenty of space for it, so we're good. Um, but yeah, so with this productivity strategy part, it's not just like, how do I keep my brain going for a good old 12-hour workday? Like, that's not really the goal here. It's how do I make sure that things happen in the right order with the right time left over to breathe? Oh, and the right things happen in the right order. So it covers what tasks you're actually doing based on your top priority, when you're doing them. So, planned around your life, not just planned around work, 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 but like your week as a whole is what I'm trying to say. How you're breaking them down so that you're never stuck on the start. Like if you said to me, "Yeah, my next task is to create my sales page for this offer." I'd be like, "That's a big task. Like that's multiple tasks in one. You know it." If you've ever created a sales page before, because you're like the copy alone is one whole thing. But like let's not even open our own website and the page that we're going to make a sales page on if we don't have the copy done, because like that's a whole different brain state to be in, and then like actually putting it into the sales page is a whole other thing, and then you're like adding in graphics or mock-ups or whatever, that's a whole other thing, and then you've got there's like multiple stages. I wouldn't have that as just one task is what I'm trying to say. So like breaking it down, because when you have just one task that really is like multiple tasks in one, you're going to feel a lot of resistance towards it, a lot. And then the other thing is, how are you supporting your focus and your energy? Because as much as us ambitious people like to believe that we can do it all and we can do it yesterday and like don't even I'm not human. I'm beyond. Like I know we do that. Like I'm joking about it, but like we kind of do this. You're not a workhorse. You are human. It's a fatal flaw. I understand. But like we do have to work with our energy. So you can see this is so important if you've got big goals. I know you've got it in you to actually be effective with your time. You're so much better than working like a 10-hour workday and getting only 1 hour of good work done. And that's actually more common than you would think. So, a work week without the juicy productivity strategy is when you're, working all the time, but somehow nothing's actually moving. And it's like, things are, it's given slipping through my fingers all the time. I try to capture every minute too, right? Like, so this is real productivity. This is how like 2 hours of deep work outpaces 10 hours of busy work and noise. It's so much better. It feels so good. So, as you can see on the screen here, we've got task management, so the ability to choose between your tasks, energy and stamina, and like this really does go into like your sleep, your nutrition, your exercise, your hydration, your stress levels. I used to be a personal trainer, so I suppose it kind of nicely like works itself into this. But we all know we need to be sleeping, 8 hours a night or whatever. We know we're meant to eat clean. We know we're meant to exercise regularly. But if you answer me honestly right now, how on point is that for you right now? Like it's something we know, but in practice it's a completely different thing, right? So and then we have tools to improve your focus, consistency with planning as well. Who does all of that? Yeah. Exactly. I know. It's like you get on top of one thing and then something else falls off. Like it just takes a little bit of intention. I'm not saying here to be perfect with it all, but the times where I've gotten these pieces locked and loaded, like everything has felt way easier because I'm like, oh my god, I have so much energy. Like what? So this is why in Work Smart Academy, there are tons of trainings in there about like weekly planning. We've got those bi-weekly plan sesh calls designed in a very particular way that make your business not overwhelming to run. Because you're actually going in, you're like, okay, this is how many tasks I've got for the week. What just it needs to step the heck back to this week because like I like to think of it, and you may have heard me use this analogy before, but when it comes to task management and like, narrowing down your tasks, I like to see it as Harvard University. Like, those courses that they're like world famous courses and they get thousands and thousands, like 8,000 applicants or something, and there's like 20 spots. That's how I see our to-do list. Everything wants a spot, but like you have to be the one to get do you know on TikTok, do you ever watch those where it's like a couple quiz or like and then it goes like this video and comment yes and I don't know whatever and it's like or reject the offer and we're me and my partner are always like reject the offer like this is what I can't even remember what that was related to. Oh yeah, reject the offer. I can't have 20,000 things on my task list. I've only got 20 spots, 30 spots, whatever. Okay, so with productivity strategy and what I've just covered here, give yourself a little rating out of 10 in this area as well. And I'm going to hydrate myself. And I need a cough again. Bear with me. 6, nice. 0, okay. And again, like for now, we are just bringing awareness to this. Just bringing awareness. Yeah, maybe you are hard on yourself, Elisa. Yeah. Okay. So let's just keep that in mind and we'll move on to the next stage here. Stage? Part? I literally wing everything. Okay. Systems. Now, this is my baby. I love systems so much. Most people hate them. Like people hate systems because they're boring. But I'm like, Okay, maybe they're boring to create, but you create one system. Sorry, I will explain this in more detail. I'm just going off on a rant here. One system gives you time like forever, and you never have to create that system again. So, systems are going to reduce a lot of friction and make your productivity strategy, which we just covered, much easier to do. So, I'm going to say something here, right? This could be a hot take, but truly I believe this. 80% of your tasks could probably take you a lot less time, maybe even up to 80% less time by building systems to support you in doing them. Now, what does that look like? So, people have different meanings for the word systems. Somebody might mean like a software like Dubsado as a system. Like, that's not really what I mean when I talk about systems. When I say systems, I mean SOPs, checklists, automations, dashboards, like automated dashboards, templates, template banks, policies, things that take I'll tell you examples and you'll understand exactly what I mean, but like if you do a task that takes you 30 minutes a day, I'm saying we can set up a system that it takes you 5 minutes a day. Great. Now you've just gotten like hours back in your week. You see how that works? Okay, and I will use examples like I said. Amen. Systems solve solutions. Systems solve That's a nice little tongue twister there. Okay, so let's start with SOPs. Standard operating procedures. I always say, like, I cannot stand the name. They sound so boring. The example I'm going to use here is I've used Facebook ads here and there. Okay. Facebook lead ads took me an average of like 3 hours to set up, you know, back over a year ago before I had an SOP. Then I set up an SOP for it. It is now a 30-minute process for me to set up one of these ads. So now anytime I create a Facebook lead ad, I save 2.5 hours of work. And that's just one task. One task. And that's like if I didn't set up any other system, like I would still be supported by that. But then, how often do I set up Facebook ads? Maybe not that often. So I like to say, like, build systems for the things that are the most frequent of your tasks where you can. But this one just really Facebook ads just really irritate me when it comes to actually setting them up because like the user interface is just not very user friendly. There is actually a done for you version of that SOP in the Systems Hub and Work Smart Academy, but because I was like, I created this is way too good to keep to myself. It's like if anyone else wants to set up Facebook ads, they need to shortcut this because like it is such a confusing process and there's so many different steps. So as you can see on the screen here, we have SOPs and checklists to remove most of the thinking and the decision making from like 80% of your tasks. Like so much decision making goes into these things unnecessarily a lot of the time. With checklists, a good example that I have I feel like this keeps coming up, but in Work Smart Academy, we have every 2 weeks there's a refine sesh call, which is like business refinement sessions. And I noticed that there were certain things I had to do before every call, like update the slides, decide on our 3 prompts for the week, blah blah blah. Right. So there were a couple of things, send out reminder email, post a reminder in the group, things like that. So I just put it in a checklist and I don't have to think about it anymore. It's so simple. But like, something funny happened yesterday. I always do meal prep on a Monday, but my turkey mince was still in the freezer. And I didn't know it had even been put in the freezer. Someone else put it in the freezer. So when I went to do my meal prep, I was like, oh no, I actually don't think I'm going to have time to do that tomorrow. But I'll have time to cook it the next day. So I'll take it out of the freezer tomorrow, as in today. And my mom was like, oh, how are you going to remember to do that? And I was like, I don't rely on my memory for these things. I don't. I'm like, I was like, I'll just put it in my Asana. I don't rely on my memory for these things. It's too unreliable. I'm not going to do that to myself. It's like I know there's only so much cognitive load that we have, right? So yeah, I just thought that was a funny little thing. But anyway, now Going into my refine sesh calls, it takes like 2 minutes. I just go boom, 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 boom through the checklist. Well, maybe 5 minutes for each of the things. But like I never miss any parts because it's in the checklist. I'm not relying on my unreliable memory. Like what a wobbly foundation, you know? I am a human. So I'm just like building a system to support the fact that I'm a human. Um Automations, need I even say it? I think we all know at this point. Well, let's just talk about it for a sec, shall we? You are currently doing things manually that you literally do not have to. A lot of people, when they hear that or when they realize that, they're like, "Oh, but mom," like, I like throw a strop. It's like because we always want our egos want to believe that everything we do is important. It makes sense why our egos would want to believe that. We don't want to believe that what we do isn't important. Like that would be a real hit to the heart. But there are things you do that are just not important. And if it is a heavy hitter for you, like that's okay. Let's just breathe through it and have a moment and grieve the fact that we thought it was necessary. And I say that with so much love. But given an example here, I'm going to use one of my favorite examples for automations. Let's talk about failed payments. All businesses have them. It happens. I don't wanna have to reach out to people personally every single time there's a failed payment in my business. That just seems, first of all, really heartbreaking and sad to me as someone who runs the business, you know? It's a bit of a heavy one. But also, it seems a little unnecessary to me because of one of my favorite automations I've got in place, and that is if a Stripe payment fails, they get added to an email sequence in my email provider, which is Kit. I use Kit, to let them know that they've lost access and what they'll need to do. Now, when I set this up, I couldn't figure out if how to set it up for like a specific subscription. So what I did was, rather than panicking and be like, "Oh my god, this isn't going to work for me," I said, "Okay, let's just make it like what's the word, relevant for everybody who gets this email." So your payment failed. You may have lost access to one of these things, and then like whatever I have, either a subscription or a payment plan for those product. Here are some, you know, tips. What's the way to say it? Like, here are some things you can do to resolve this issue, blah blah blah. And this all happens without me even knowing. And it is for someone who runs a soul-led business, for someone who, you know, creates from the heart, that is a great one. Things like that for those heavy tasks, like there's the fact that you're protecting your heart, but also you're protecting your time. Because let's say your business grows loads, and if that happened every week, a couple times, and you don't have something like this set up, that means you could be taking 30 minutes each week to reach out personally to whoever's payments failed. Every single week. That's like 2 hours a month. And again, that's just one task. That's a great tip. I was thinking about the hard parts recently. Yeah, I love to systemize the hard parts. Like if, you know, a subscription is cancelled or if a payment fails, like these are great ones to have something up and running for. Because it all happens without you even needing to be a part of it. It's great. And like I'm not even talking about outsourcing here. I'm not like most of these things are completely free to set up. So big props to getting these things set up. And then we have templates. So like what are you just have a little think about this. Like what are you writing and rewriting over and over again that you could just copy and paste? Probably more than you realize. One of my new additions and my new faves is for my core offers, I have like an offer page hub or like an offer hub where all of my marketing resources live. So let's say for, you know, Streamlined Coach, which is my group program, all of the cart open emails, all of the result focused emails, all of the benefits focused emails, the list of all the features, a list of all the features plus why that's important. And I have the same for Work Smart Academy. Um, doors closing emails, all the graphics with the branding, all of that. Oh, the pricing levels, pricing tiers, important links like links to the product, links to the portal if there's a portal, everything. It's all in this one place. So rather than me going, and that's what gets you. Do you ever find when you're like, you were trying to work on something, and then you're like, what was I doing again? And that probably only had the opportunity to happen because you were sitting there trying to think about a tab that you needed open. And maybe you started to open this. I saw a laughing emoji. Someone definitely related to that. Someone, sorry. Maybe you open a tab and then even like maybe that tab was your Google Drive and even you're in Google Drive and you're like, what was I going to do? So if I know, hey, I'm going to schedule a bunch of launch emails or something, I'm going to go into my task in Asana. It's just what I use. It's my preference. But anyway, Asana, I'm going to see in the description, so the task will be like, schedule all launch emails, whatever. In the description, it's going to be uh, it's just going to be linked in there. So I don't even have to go like, what's the document? Where's the document? How do I find the document? It's like I go to my task, I click on the link, and then I start scheduling. So easy. Like, so anytime, then this is also like for ongoing kind of maintenance of that. Anytime I write another email selling Work Smart Academy, for example, to my list, I'm like, damn, that was a good email. It gets saved in there because I don't want to have to think about it from scratch next time. My rule is to never type anything twice, and that has made my business so much easier to run. And 10 out of 10 would recommend. And then also, I've had clients in the past who have been like, yeah, but I don't want to put out the exact same email every time. And I'm saying, that's fine. You absolutely don't have to. You can copy and paste this email and then change it to like improve the messaging or make it feel a bit more you or add some funny anecdote in there or like if you're a GIF person, add a funny GIF. Like you can always tweak. That's fine. Like, but at least you're not going to have to go in there and be staring at a blank page. So, yes, I agree. Systems do sound boring, but they make your business way less boring because you actually have less of this boring work to do. Like, so are you just doing a task or are you doing it in a way that makes it like 80% easier or 80% quicker for next time? That's one to have simmering in your brain. I'm always recreating this as epic. Love it. Love to hear it. Okay. So, with that in mind, with systems, like imagine you did this for all of your repetitive tasks. I can guarantee you your business will be way less boring when you actually have them because you bring in way more of your own personal spice because you actually have the time to do that. You're going to be in flow more, you're going to be feeling inspired more. I'm telling you now, it's way more fun. So, give yourself a little rating on the systems front for right now. But I'm hoping that regardless of where this number is, that you're able to see the light after I've just talked you through that section. I'm gonna take a sip of water. I feel like my voice is doing a lot of like, I'm doing my best there. Okay, 4. Okay, so 4 is not too bad actually, but room for improvement. So I'm hoping that you've gotten some ideas here. Cool. So I'm gonna move on to the next section here. And that actually before I do, I'm gonna put a little what's the word? I don't know. Is there anything that's confusing you at this point? Have you got any questions at all? I'm gonna walk through this next section rather than waiting for the questions to come through, and then after this next section, if there's questions, and I'll go ahead and answer. Okay. Okay, so this next section, refinement. This is one that I really don't see many people talking about in the business space or the productivity space. And I think it's ridiculously beneficial for both. Yes, I see what keeps me unproductive. Okay, good. So this is the first step. That's amazing. Now, with refinement, you know what's not productive? Doing every single thing from scratch. And I know that might sound weirdly similar to what I was talking about with systems, but I'm coming at it from a different angle this time, okay? So that's what's not productive. What's crazy productive, and I actually alluded to this in the example with the emails, is making what you've already created better. So this is the underdog. And the example I'm going to bring up is also a sales page again, right? If you know, it takes like what 10 to 15 hours to create a sales page from scratch. Like if you had nothing to go off, it takes a lot of time. If you go in and you're not just creating a new sales page, but you're going in and improving a sales page, that takes like 2 to 3 hours, and you get to feel better out the other side. Sales pages, oof. You right. You right. I need work on the SOPs. I keep everything and it's becoming a mess of text. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I like that you're seeing where you can and you're dabbling, but yeah, there's definitely ways to kind of make it something that's actually followable, if that makes sense. So with sales pages, like I'm over here and I'm like, why would you make it so hard on yourself to start something from scratch when you could just go and review something, as in like a sales page? And then that's actually something I've made even easier again. Like one of our recent drops in the systems hub in Work Smart Academy was a sales page optimization checklist. Maybe I can show you this actually. Um, so yeah, I'm just going to show you this. This is the sales page optimization checklist. You've got like what's the word? Instructions. You've got loads of different sections, and let's say I just went to like I want to improve the scarcity and urgency part. So then you've got like, okay, you get to go in and ask yourself, is there a genuine reason to act now? Like limited spots for a specific bonus, deadline, doors closing, bonus expiring. Is that urgency clearly visible and not buried in paragraphs? Do you explain why the deadline or urgency exists? For example, like, oh, I want to give more focused support to those of you who join. So whoever's in by Friday is in and that's it, or, whatever, versus like the doors close on Friday. So you're actually explaining that. Is the urgency positioned in a supportive way, or is it only fear based? Because this definitely is going to be helpful for those of you who are in a more like want to be heart led. Are there countdowns or visual cues to create that time sensitivity without like stressing people out? Yeah, we have like pricing, investment, trust building, overall visual layout. Like this is a whole thing. This is a 7-page document. But like messaging and transformation, story and social proof, mock-ups and visuals, call to action, scarcity and urgency, pricing, investment, trust building, overall visual layout, vibe check. And FAQ section. That was just one drop in the system. So, okay, we'll go back to this bad boy. So, you know, so refinement is really about reviewing what's working, reviewing what's not, and tweaking accordingly. So that's why I host those refine sesh calls in Work Smart Academies. And like, I know I'm literally singing the praises of Work Smart Academy like this entire time, but that's exactly the point. Like, it's not just some random membership. It is very intentionally crafted to help with those foundational pieces. So again, I'm not going to be shy about sharing that because this is why it's such an incredible membership for that exact reason. Now, with refinement, I'd love for you to rate yourself out of 10 in this area as well. How is this landing for you? This visual helps so much. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. Ooh, in the chat, I love that. Yeah, I'm just seeing if there's anything else I should say about refinement. Doing everything. Yeah, refinement is smart for your business and your workload. And when I say like go in, like you're obviously if you're oh, thanks Toriel, Work Smart Academy is super helpful. If you're going in and what was I going to say there? You're oh my god, I actually fully lost my train of thought there. I try, but I redo the refinement constantly, so not great there either. Right. 4 on refinement. Oh, so what I was gonna say is, oh my god, I lost it again. What the heck? Oh yeah, okay. Sorry. So when you are refining things, like the reason I say about the sales pages, this is obviously gonna tie back to like your how your offer suite is built, right? And how it's kind of mapped out. You're not gonna create a new sales page if you already have one. Like that I know that. And I would hope not. Unless you're like, okay, no, this thing is like really just confusing me and I just need to start from scratch. But like what I'm alluding to here is usually coaches will get really excited about like the next offer, the next offer, the next offer. And if you're constantly working on a new offer, that means you can't improve that sales page from the old offer, you know? That means you can't that means you have to spend the 15 hours every single time on a new sales page because there isn't one because it's a new offer. And this is where like I have a love-hate relationship with the shiny object syndrome because I love a shiny object, don't get me wrong, but I want to make sure that my business is like on foundations that don't rely on my shiny object syndrome. So that's why it even goes back to offer suite and like how you structure your offer suite. That's a whole other conversation, but something to kind of be thinking about, right? Okay, so accountability. This is one that I haven't spoken about as much on social media and stuff. The why for this, honestly, don't even get me started. You can be the most motivated, self led person in the world. And I love that for you. And that's cool. I would consider myself fairly self led. I've got my eyes on the prize. I know that nothing can take me away from that. But adding in the accountability factor will make you not only move if you needed help moving, but also move faster and move bigger. And look, I am all for willpower, but again, it's a really wobbly foundation to be relying on. There is something psychological about the social pressure of accountability. And this is you using your psychology to your benefit, which is unreal. Saying you're going to do something and sharing that, like whether it's with an accountability buddy, with a like-minded group, whether it's publicly like on your Instagram or whatever, or with a coach, like you won't even give your thought demons a chance to slow you down or sabotage you because you're like, uh my psychology is being used here. This is just smart. Like someone is waiting for me to give an update on how this goes, like, so I'm not just going to not do it. um and then another thing is like body doubling. So if any has anyone here ever tried Focus Mate? This is something I'm getting into way more recently. I'm kind of loving it. It's like it was an interesting one for me. I'm quite an introvert, so I was like, "Ooh, like getting on a call unnecessarily, seemingly." But actually, if you and the premise of it, if you haven't heard of it, is like you get on a call. Body doubling is actually exactly what I'm explaining here. Sorry. If I didn't make that clear. So you get on a call to co-work with someone else and you both say, "Hey, how's it going? I'm working on this, whatever this is. Like for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to do this. I'm hoping to get to this point." So this morning I was on a Focus Mate and I was actually making the slides for this. I had a couple of things to finish and I was like, "Hey, I'm creating slides for for a presentation and I'm hoping to finish the slides by the end of this 25-minute session." So they were like, "Great, I'm revising some maths problems." And I was like, "Cool, good luck with that." And they were like, "You too." And then we just like your camera's on and you're just like working. I aged out of the term. What do you mean? Oh, I don't think it's like a young thing. I think it's just a new thing. No, no, don't be worried about co-working. Oh yeah. Um, I think it's just like a fairly new thing. FocusMate is quite a cool tool for that. So here's where this is like the cherry on top of this beautiful pyramid cake that we've just been talking about. If you don't have crystal clarity and then you try and do the accountability, you're just going to be held accountable to like random things. If you don't have productivity strategy, you won't have the time or energy to do what you're being held accountable to do. If you don't have systems, you're going to do the thing, but it might not even be necessary to do that thing because you could have had an automation or you could have had an SOP and it could have taken you 5 minutes instead of half an hour, you know? And then if you don't have refinement, you can get accountability to do the thing, but like you're doing it from scratch. And again, you spend more time on it than you need to. And you're going to be held accountable to creating everything in first draft mode and therefore not reaching your actual potential in terms of the quality that you create. So just have a think. Like, I would say to rate yourself on this as well. Is this something that you make use of? Or is this something that you're like, yeah, I've definitely heard that this is like helpful, but I don't actually do it? Let me know. Be honest. It's cool. It's funny. I don't think you're old, by the way. I miss this right now. Yeah, fair. Fair. A lot of people do. And yeah, I've definitely had periods where I've been more on. I've had periods where I've been more off with accountability. But I've really blown myself away sometimes when I make use of that accountability. So it's definitely a powerful one, and it is that cherry on top. So I just want to drop in with something real quick here. Your time is the most expensive thing that you own. Like, it's not your very sexy MacBook. It's not even your car. I'm telling you now, it's your time. And the wild part is that most of us are out here spending our time like we've got unlimited amount. You know, we're saying yes to things, almost everything. We're piling tasks on our plate. We're not holding boundaries. We're responding to every single notification like really fast. We're switching between 5 or more goals, or even 3 or 4, you know? And we're wondering why we're exhausted and overwhelmed by underwhelmed by our results. Overwhelmed by the workload, underwhelmed by our results. It kind of goes hand in hand. Like, but when you start treating your time like it's a precious asset, and actually, if you want to hear more about the asset talk, I'm releasing a podcast episode about like asset liability in productivity, which is a fun, unique thing that I enjoyed talking about for half an hour or whatever. But if you treat your time like it's gold, everything changes. It's not a lack mindset, it's appreciating what you have in the fact that it's limited. So that's why your value is your value of your time is so high, because you only have a certain amount of time. You only have 168 hours in a week. I only have 168 hours in a week. And, you know, doesn't it make so much sense to get really good at this productivity thing to make you feel like you're living 3 or 4 lifetimes in one, rather than just feeling limited all the time? Like, oh, I'm never going to get around to doing that. Or I guess I'll give up on my dream of writing a book because it's too late. I just want to slap that out of you. Like, we are not here to just get more done. Every layer of this pyramid helps you protect your time so that you can put your energy where it moves the needle. And finally having that feeling of progress and moving forward like you never have before. So, I do have an invitation for you today as I share what's inside of this. Oh, that was meant to be. That was meant to be the slide. Here we are. I suppose there's actually a couple of extra little pieces on there. Like, I don't want you spending time unnecessarily on things that are taking more time than they're providing value in your life. That might be one you need to sit on, because that's kind of deep. Like, woo. So yeah, I do have an invitation for you today. And as I share what's inside Work Smart Academy, I want you to think of it like a mirror. Like, where am I good? And where do I have gaps? Do I already have this in place? You know, is this part of my week right now? What are the gaps I'm missing that would make me super productive? So, of course, and this is the thing, right? Money is amazing. Of course, we love money. Who doesn't love money? But it's essentially unlimited. Whereas our time, like I said, we only have 24 hours a day, 168 hours in a week, 365 days in a year, and who knows how many years we have. I know that sounds really morbid, but like it's true. We only have so much time, and once you spend it, it's gone. And I don't know about you, but I don't know a single person on this planet, especially business owners, who would pass up an extra 10 hours a week, an extra 20 hours a week. Who would pass that up? Like there's no there's no rule about how you spend that. It could be that you're in a growth phase, so you want to, use it to take things up to the next level, or it could be that you're in a life phase and you're going out to shows in the middle of the day, or you're doing spontaneous road trips in the countryside, or like you're just reading out in the garden when it's sunny. Like the point is that you would have the choice. Because I know you started this business to have the freedom to choose how you spend your time, not to feel like you have another 9 to 5 job that actually you work longer hours than 9 to 5 for, and your boss doesn't give you days off because your boss is you. So are you okay with the fact that the way you're doing things right now could be causing you to actually use up hours unnecessarily? Just because you're like manually doing something that you could have automated, or you're spending 2 hours on a 45-minute task because you're distracted, or you're never getting it all done because there's no clear order of what's important, and you're just tired thinking about your week when Monday comes around. I know you've been there. I've definitely been there too in the past. I was the person who was working the 17-hour days. And every time I say that, I'm like, how was that even a thing? Like, I almost don't believe me. But I genuinely was back in 2018 with my first business. I was a personal trainer, and I would get up at 4 a.m. to make calls to my leads. Like, and those leads were like in Australia. So I had to get up really, really early. And then I would stay up really, really late to call the people, my leads in the US. And like, I was working I didn't just like take time off in the middle of the day just because I was working both ends of the day. Like, I just worked the whole way through. I don't know how I managed, to be honest. And it's no wonder that like a lot of us, maybe that's an extreme. That is extreme. It was extreme. Most of us aren't at that point. That's like super bad. But a lot of us are at the point where, yeah, we are saying yes to too much and chasing shiny goals and half starting things and trying to do 5 things at once with like 16 tabs open, as if multitasking is something to be proud of. Like, and then it's no wonder that we end our week or even just our day in fuzzy brain and with less progress than we know how to. Less progress than we know how to. Less progress than we know we could be making. And then we start a shame spiral, and it's a whole thing. I won't get into it, right? But that is when, getting this stuff in place, getting your productivity down, that's when the dream of more freedom and more time for books and beach walks and just being a fucking human starts to actually show up in your calendar. And this is the exact reason why I created Work Smart Academy. I was going to say, in case you haven't heard about it, I've literally talked about it this whole way. But Work Smart Academy is my productivity and systems membership. By the way, this is like, wait till you see what I've got on offer here. So get shit done, make consistent progress on what matters, and plan your weeks around your passions. So this is really the thing to help you stop surviving your work weeks and actually start running them like a CEO who's also so much more than a CEO. You're a sister, a brother, a friend, a writer, a musician, a dog mother or father, a spa girly, spa guy, whatever other things you've wanted to be part of your life alongside your business, you don't actually have to wait anymore. So inside Work Smart Academy, I'll just walk you through the pieces. We've got bi-weekly live planning calls. So just like in the second level of our pyramid, you're going to be walked through a 4-step process for weekly planning that allows you to get that crystal clarity on your goals and the most important task for the week. Narrow down that task list, because like we're not just here about to be working on everything. We don't do that. Dust off your calendar, removing unnecessary things and adding forgotten deadlines and things like that. And to give a slot in your calendar for all of the remaining important tasks for the week. And also, they're just so fun because every single time I hop on with like a banging playlist, and it could be Gasolina, it could be the Gorillas, it could be Ari G, and like, so I'll be your half planning coach, half DJ. And then we have our, on the other weeks, so we have those every 2 weeks, and then we have these on the other weeks, business refine sesh calls. These are where we go deep into the nitty gritty of your business based on a certain theme each week. We rotate about, I think it's like 8 different themes. Haven't counted them. So you could be improving your marketing one week, your client onboarding another week, your social media another week, and so on. And you'll get all the ideas out of your brain onto paper. You choose the best one, you map it out in more detail, and then you actually make improvements that you've mapped out before you even log off the call. It's very powerful. It's snappy. It's so good. And we also listen to pretty good music on those calls as well. Then we have the full membership portal, which is like, there is a lot in there already, plus monthly content drops. So the membership portal, there's an instant access library of strategic trainings, including my master plan workshop, automated money stuff, which is, oh, I think it's actually in the podcast that's going out tomorrow. I think that I spoke about automated money stuff. It's where all you have to do is like put in how much you made for the month or the week or whatever, and everything else is just automatically calculated. So it's a juicy one. The refinement masterclass and loads more. And then the monthly content drops. I mean, every single month there's a new main content drop in the membership. There's fresh trainings, spicy challenges, there's mini courses and tutorials to speed up your workflows, and it's all delivered into your portal every single month, so your experience just gets better and better. I'm obsessed with it. What can I say? The systems hub. So this you would have heard me talk about when I included the example of the sales page optimization checklist. That was just one addition to it, by the way. But oh, I see I didn't update the graphic for this. Cool. Apologies for that. You know what? I'm just going to show you the systems hub. This is the systems hub. All of these have, some of them have one, some of them have multiple different systems. I'm just going to make, yeah, you can see that. So if I'm like, this is the one I was talking about earlier, setting up Facebook lead gen ads. There's an SOP/checklist. There's a template/template bank for like, you know, the actual graphics or the actual text that you would want to have in there. And is that it? There's something else there. There's something else. Oh, software automation. Okay. Oh yeah, the automation part, because there's also, we want to make it so that it automatically sends the leads your thing, whatever they signed up for. So yeah, there's like multiple different things. If you want to only see template banks, you can filter it for template banks. If you want to only see things that are related to content creation, you can do that. Or marketing and visibility, you can do that. Anyway, I rest my case over here. Yeah, the systems hub, basically the thing with systems is they take a lot of time to set up. Like, I will not lie to you. An SOP takes, like, building an SOP for a task takes longer than doing the task once. But the thing is, then you have the SOP to make it easier every single time you do it in the future. Law, the long days are real. I worked in law 60 to 80 hours a week. Yeah, that will do it. I'd say that was tough. So each month with the systems hub, I drop something new. It could be an SOP, a checklist, a dashboard, automation, template. Could be a multitude of things. And that ties into the systems side of things, which I explained the value of in the middle of our pyramid. So the reason this is in there is because I understand it takes a long time to create a system. So I was like, well, I will do it for you then. And all you have to do is like tweak it to your personal business. So adding in your own links, adding in your own business name and things like that. So it's way easier and you just basically shortcut the process. Systems give you time back, and I'm giving you time back on creating the systems. So it's the whole thing. Great. So then we've got the Productivity Listening Lounge. This is a fun little addition, right? You can plug in on the go with audio drops. These are kind of, it's not like every single week or every 2 weeks, but it's like, this is more, I didn't want to put a deadline on this because there are plenty of content pieces that go into Work Smart Academy like all the time. So I wanted this one to be a bit more like inspiration based on my end. But the thing is, you can see some of the trainings that are dropped in there, using the abundance principle for productivity, how to tweak ChatGPT to inspire the fuck out of you, how to build the skill of weaving unique micro stories in with your niche. This will save you so much time. And then there's like little things. So they're either like mini trainings, or what I've been really loving doing is some little behind the scenes insights into how I'm building a more streamlined business that runs for me. Because I know that like I can be like, okay, do this system, and you're like, okay, but like there can be some roadblocks along the way, and I just want to walk you through the decisions I made throughout the way, and like why I made certain decisions and all that. Okay, the Q&A database and the mini trainings. This is a whole thing as well. So, I found as a client in other memberships that if they were just like, when people do like an hour or two long Q&A call, most of the time I'm not going to sit through that, especially if I want a certain answer. So I was like, you know what? I am going to strip all of my Q&A. Basically a few months ago, I stripped all of the Q&A videos and I made them into mini trainings. So now you can actually go in and search for a specific thing and find the Q&A on that if there is one. Excuse me. So this is where every single question that's ever been answered in the membership is organized in this simple little hub where you can filter based on like duration. So it's like less than 5 minutes, 5 to 15 minutes, or 15 minutes plus based on how much time you got. And there, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. And then also in the last week of every month, I answer your member questions in a short, powerful training that will also be added to that database. So that's where you can lean into productivity coaching, support, accountability as well, and the community. So we also have a community of like-minded business owners. This is where now what I'm going to say here is maybe a little crazy. Oh, you know what? I'm going to come back to the bonuses. Okay. There's a lot in what I just covered, and I was very serious when I priced all of these up. If I was like, right, what would I actually charge for each of these in terms of value? This is not like exaggerated at all, because there is so much in there. So that is how much value you get inside Work Smart Academy, bearing in mind it increases every month. Of course it does, because I add more stuff to it every month. It's only $37 a month. And it is constantly growing, and it is so intentional, and it is like the next level of your productivity for so many reasons. But I'm going to take it a step further. This is the first time I've ever released this. You can now join for $1 for your first 14 days. And you can get everything I just mentioned. I'm also going to talk you through some bonuses in just a sec. And you're free to cancel anytime. After the 14 days, it is $37 a month. I'm a big try before you buy girly. And, even for my own growth areas, I want to know what it feels like to absorb certain content or get the support of a membership like this. So that's why I'm giving you the opportunity to do that today. This $1 trial is only available until this day next week, next Tuesday the 1st of July, end of day. So I'll just say that. And let's go back to these bonuses here. This is a very juicy one. I can't actually believe I'm doing this. I'm actually really excited to do this because I'm a big, support girl too. I am throwing in a 1-day mini mind for anybody who joins new this week. And that is happening next Tuesday, the 1st of July. So, for me to just bear with me for a sec, I just need to find my notes. I actually don't think I have notes on this. Yes, I do. So this is basically hot seat coaching all day. Like, as if you were in a mini mind with me, A mini mind would be a very high ticket offer, but it's a 1 day mini mind. It's potent. You come in, you ask your question, you get support. We tailor things, tailor strategies to you and your business and what's going to feel good to you. And you get coaching on whatever you need when it comes to productivity and systems. And like I said, this is only available to new members that join this week. This alone would normally be over $200. So just saying that. There is also a fast action bonus. Since I am a big fan of action takers and anyone who sees something and goes, heck yeah, I want it, I'm gonna say, like, you know what, you deserve a little you deserve a little prize. So if you haven't heard me talk about this before, this is one of my prized offers ever. My offer launch dashboard. So we all know a launch is a big project. You have plenty of work to do in the lead up to a launch, and a lot of it takes so much time unnecessarily. Basically, this offer launch dashboard has all of the tasks you need to do. And inside the tasks, as you can see, I'm not sure if you can tell from this piece here, inside the description of those tasks, you've got SOPs, templates, template banks, checklists to cover, links to certain things that are going to help you actually complete that task and make it quicker. Like this alone, again, also over $200. Now, this one, it's worth over $200, but I'm just going to throw it in for free. This is only if you join WorkSmart Academy within the next 24 hours. So by 4 p.m. UK time tomorrow, this will be going. Because I'm actually going to be sending it out in an email tomorrow at 4 p.m. I'm just going to pop the link into our chat here to join WorkSmart Academy. If you got any questions, of course, just let me know. But yes, this is being sent out tomorrow. You're either in before and you get access to it, amazing, or you are in after and you don't. That is as simple as I can make that. So that's that. And then there is one more bonus. Oh, sorry. By the way, inside the offer launch dashboard, there's like over 20 SOPs and checklists and templates and all of the things. So once this first 24 hours goes, that is only going to be available to my higher ticket clients in my group program, Streamlined Coach. So there's that. So the last thing, I didn't have a graphic for this. So post-trial bonus, right? This is an interesting one. That's my last one for you. Let's say you join WorkSmart Academy and you absolutely love it. If you stay after the 14-day trial, you will automatically be entered to win a golden ticket where you can win your choice of a 30-minute clarity call, a systems audit, or a task list overhaul based on what you need. There are going to be multiple winners for this as well, so the odds are looking pretty nice for you. I think it's actually... Yeah, okay. I actually don't have anything else to say here. If you've got any questions whatsoever, just let me know. If you see this and you're on the replay, you can ask your question on Instagram. Go ahead and DM me. I'm at More to Life Kate, and I'm happy to answer whatever it is that you've got. What can I say? WorkSmart Academy is the bee's knees, and I'm literally giving it to you for $1 for the next 14 days. So, I mean, there's just no argument with that. And also, if there's any questions about what we covered in the masterclass today, please ask that as well. I don't want you coming to a masterclass and something's not quite clear, so then you leave and then you're like, I'm not actually sure how to make use of this. I would not like that either. So if there's anything that's kind of blocking you or you're like, where do I even start? Just now is your time before we hop off. Amazing. This was really helpful. Thank you, Kate. You are so welcome. Thanks for being here and for being so engaged as well. I love to see it. It's so nice to have that like live back and forth sometimes, because I feel like a lot of the time, like, it's really just emails most of the time, or like even if we're on social media and stuff, it can be a bit less personal sometimes. So I love this. This was eye-opening. Thank you. Okay, amazing. I'm guessing because those comments have come through that there's no questions. So we will leave it there. I'm going to be sending out the replay. Like I said, well, actually, WorkSmart Academy is open all the time, but Usually, you won't be able to get this $1 trial, and you won't be able to get the fast action bonus of the offer launch dashboard or the one day mini mind, or be in with a chance for the golden ticket. So I will leave it there, and just shoot me a message on Instagram if you've got any questions whatsoever. And go have a fantastic Tuesday and rest of your week. I'll see you very soon. I hope I hope you start finding tens soon. Yes, me too. Okay, bye. Have a great day.